Much, Nick, for joining us. And apologies to our audience to be a bit late. It is because not of decentralization, but centralization itself. I think, yeah, it it took like restream was a bit difficult today. So coming back to today's episode is pretty great into understanding what Assister has been doing, how they are democratizing AI and working on top of AI. And congratulations on the recent raise as well. And we are pretty excited to speak to you on around. Uh, Over to you, Nick. Nick, I would love to know more about Assister by you. Like what is Assister, and please tell me a bit about it yourself as well.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. About Assisterr and my background. So my background is in tech consulting. So I was product manager on projects with focus on either IoT, Internet of Things, or either ML technology. It was pretty interesting. It wasn't AI, Gen AI at that period of time. So I started 2015, 16, 17. And 2017, I switched fully to Web3 space initially because I was just curious about what is going on. Then I will get, start investing in my personal savings that, it's just become a lot of fun, a lot of friends in this space, a lot of things happening around. And I was doing exactly the same. So I was skilled product project manager. So I was building, again, R&D teams, some open source teams running for different projects. And it was also very interesting for another 3 years. And after that, I joined a team as a co-founder, as a CPO and co-founder of AI startup. So we were doing very pragmatical things. We were automating sales and design function for different small, medium businesses. And with that project, I figure out a lot of problems or challenges that AI technology and like ML, AI technology and Gen AI has nowadays, and specifically with accuracy, with the data access, with data updates, where to take data, and a lot of other things that we are targeting with the Assisterr nowadays. And then I moved, I sold my portion of the company. I moved to UK. I studied at Cambridge University. And after that, I thought okay, what actually I want to build, what I actually want to do. And two technologies that I keep being excited about, it's AI, and also it's about Web3, it's about blockchain. And that's where Assisterr came from. So initial idea was okay, let's use AI to automate support of developer community on different protocols, because it's a mess. If you're trying to build something in Web3 space, there's hundreds and thousands different protocols with different complex, different documentation, different languages, and so on. So if you're trying to actually move efficiently, you can be fucked up, to be honest. And that was the initial proof of concept and ideas that we delivered to the market. So we were taking tech documentation from big protocols like Solana, Ethereum, different layer tools, different dApps, and so on. We were training custom developer support agents or models. And after that, this agent can act in different communities and support developers. We build it, we start earning first money, and then we figure out that the whole ecosystem and all infrastructures that we delivered can be actually scaled and support many, many use cases for many builders and many creators globally. So that's why right now we position Assisterr as a network of community-owned small language models. Why community-owned, why small language models, and why, what exactly we're doing, I would be happy to tell a little bit later.
Yeah, absolutely. I think where you said that there are so many broken pieces that needs to be filled into, like for example, if I really have to, if I really speak on the perspective of AI, and today I want to get started with TensorFlow or PyTorch or any of the documentation which I require to create my project, it's fairly very simple, and it
Yeah.
is also it is very LLM searchable. Like if I want to do it, I can just search it on Claude and Cursor, and it can be easily done. But there is a lot of difference while doing on top of Web3 protocols. You're right. Like for example, if I have to even bridge between two different ecosystem, I have to search a lot, I have to understand a lot, and I have to create an understanding on top of it. How would I do it? And there is no one singular and specific documentation to guide me through this. And I think this is one of the biggest gap I felt that was in Web3, and not so many people were talking about, because once they start building, they start realizing it, and then the whole problem statement really comes far to it, that there is not so much, everybody's writing their own documentation,
Yeah.
everybody has their, like, and it's on some docusaurus, gitbook, all of those things, and it is in some kind of segment, everybody likes their own documentation, but there is no singular tonality to it as well. Like, not, the ease of access is really towards how you can reach to a tonality and access something which is more universal than discretely spread up in different pockets. So amazing, Nick. Like, I truly love what you guys have been building, and I think I saw a sister, and there was something which was specifically for DevRels, like something to help DevRels and to get them started, and that got my attention really. Like, how do AI powered DevRel would work on it. And this is one of the features as well. And like all of these DevRel folks, they try to make hot topics every day, like DevRel versus BD and all of that. Like, they're good. Everybody's good in DevRel into being in the news for whatever reason. But I want to understand how Assister is trying to revolutionize the DevRel space, and how your specific DevRel feature, like, because I kind of, it interests me honestly. So
Yeah.
what is you guys are really trying to do with the DevRel feature set, what you have for Assister?
Yeah. So just to clarify, so it's like with the DevRel, we have one use case that our team basically lead as a product, like, so we know the space well, so we design it and using our infrastructure to establish this use case, to build a partnership, to build a client pipeline and all of this. But except that, we are working actively on very important release that's going to happen end of this month. So we're going to be releasing AI Lab, which going to be publicly available no-code tool or platform for anyone to launch their own use cases or ideas by using our infrastructure. So you would be able to launch something if you are, I don't know, newsletter about crypto creator, or maybe if you are influencer and have a lot of content, or maybe if you are a marketing manager, or maybe you are working with some business and you have a lot of data, you can upload this data, create your own model, and after that you can use our different UI interfaces for different agents. You can provide your community, your audiences, or your clients this as an interface to interact with your data documentation, with yourself based on some history of your messages, emails, whatever you have. So the amount of use cases is going to be very big. So we got more than 400,000 registered users at the moment. We already asked 60,000 of them. They passed the QEs as a research, and we have approximately 500 different models that our community actually is ready to deploy and ready to launch with Assisterr. So that's where, like, one use case with the DevRel is something that we start with, but we expect to have hundreds and hundreds of different use cases shortly with our community. Within the DevRel, what we are offering for protocols, so basically we have two very painful things in DevRel. First, most DevRel engineers, they are spending approximately 4 or 5 hours per day just answering same questions from the community again and again. So someone wants to start building something on protocol. He's, like, start reading docs, spending hours there, understands that there is something unclear, especially if it's a junior developer and he just like start his path in Web3 in general. So what he's doing, he going to Discord and start asking there, like, hey guys, I cannot resolve this. Can anyone help me? And if this is a big project, like, most likely they have good documentation, but sometimes either, like, no matter how good documentation is, like, there all the time could be something that is not described, not documented, because, like, there's a lot of creative ideas, there are a lot of people who build it and so on. And second part, like, if you are trying to build something or connect to some new instruments in the market, you also cannot find immediately support and documentation, so it's not enough for you. So what happened next? Like, these DevRel engineers on other side, they need to go one by one and respond the questions. And most of these questions are similar because, like, if you think, like, whoever is starting, like, 80% or 90% of their questions would be similar again and again, and you need to answer them again and again. So what we are doing, our agents basically automated this, like, and saving 4 5 hours per day for several engineers by answering these questions automatically, because we already have established database, we already have the knowledge that we need, we already have the code base, we have everything. Then for another 10% that left some unique questions, what we are doing, we highlighting that, like, hey guys, we see that model failed to provide support for these questions. So maybe there is like misdocumentation. So it's a good insight for you to create this documentation and support your community. And second, maybe there is some feature request that you don't support this integration or this type of, like language or this type of things. It's also very helpful, very good insight, because the protocol can be developer focused and like can be focused on success of the developer community, instead of just saying like, hey, we built, everything is good, like go and develop, like, like we don't care. Oh, if we care, you need to wait a couple months when we will prioritize it and include in our roadmap. Like if it would be this case, the developer will just switch to another ecosystem, and like losing developers who already have interest in your protocol, who wants to deploy something, who want to use, it's like really, really not a good way to go in 2024. That's why we offer an Assisterr, because we know these problems from inside. We know the importance of the documentation. We know importance of developer success story and all of this.
Wow. And I truly like this piece. This is something which we would love to do it, right? I think we had a discussion as well, like if Spheron can integrate into it. And there was a shape shift in Spheron once we were having this discussion, because like we understood this problem is very, very tangible, because that if somebody has come to your protocol and they started reading your documentation, it's your time to either rise and shine or
Yep.
just be forgettable, right? Because if you do not provide that experience of being either your product, either your protocol is too good to ignore, that it cannot be ignored, and they have to use you, like I know like Ethereum, but yeah, like but they have done a good job, honestly. But
Yeah.
uh they have to use you, and there are so many, like, but there are so many protocols which are forgettable, because once you
Yeah.
go over there and you see that there is no great developer support, people are not answering questions, and that tend to lose out different developer quality. And I can see that this becomes as one of the things
Yeah.
which brings in a lot of. But my question really arrives is that, like, in, like, does it integrate, like, do I have to use specifically Assister, or does it integrate on my Discord or Telegram, or how does that take place? Like,
Yeah.
it's an open source model that can.
Yeah. So how it works? So initially you creating a data set, and like the data sets, it's something that we helping you to create. But then we have different UI interfaces. We call it basically AI agent, which in fact are either Discord integration, Discord bot. It's going to be Telegram bot, Slack bot. It's going to be a WhatsApp bot, even like if you have a developer communities there. And also we have web widget support, so you can integrate this knowledge base, kind of AI brain, you can input in any developer or customer facing platform. Well, no matter where they sit in, you would be able to support them really fast, really efficient. And if something goes wrong, you would still have all the analytics gathered in one place. So you would be able to process these tickets, edge cases. You would be able to generate some insights, make some smart decision about what you need to improve and tune. And one more important, very interesting thing is that, like, everyone was talking about this, like Polkadot, Cosmos, about like interoperability, all of this stuff, cross-chain things. But like by the end of the day, like cross-chain, it's a big question. It's rebranded into account abstraction, all of this. But by the end of the day, it's not about cross chain or cross platforms, but like it's cross developers. So it's like usually developers right now, they're contributing minimum in 3 platforms. So if you are not in these 3 platforms who provide the best support for developer, who are not providing like immediate support, who doesn't have a good documentation, you would not be like in a focus for contributors, and they will switch. And like most likely the core ecosystem is like all the time Ethereum, it's all the time something else, like. So there is like too much chairs to feed, and like that's where the competition for developers happening. And I'm sometimes very wondering when some projects saying like, oh yeah, the rel it's very interesting, but like it's not our focus right now. We are doing XYZ, and they're like, okay, like, so what do you expect? I really want to other people to contribute to your protocol. I really want to other people to build something. If it's not a case, but yeah, it really depends from the like purposes and goals from each ecosystem.
I think, and that's really important. Like as you said, that account abstraction is the way to go, and there are many segments which are trying to unify the whole Web3 space. I know, like it's going to take some time, and it's going to happen on a steady pace for sure. But what I want to understand is that how do you generate those, like if I could see that there is a lot I can see there is something called store where I can use any community owned small model on top of Assister. So
Yeah.
how does Assister does that? Like what's the uh, most minimal approach to execute a simple is it an SLM which is on top of your code base where that can be utilized through your APIs, or that can be utilized through your own SDKs, or you would be using a wrapper on top of it as Assistor's UI, or how would you go by that?
Yeah, so how it works on a technical level. So we have two big milestones. First milestone is almost reached, and we're going to be releasing it in couple weeks. So the first milestone is like RAG-powered models, where we effectively using vector databases where we injecting all the data. And then if someone from community has any issues with finding support through these agents in like predefined way, they can create a ticket, and these tickets would be basically a data request to feed additional data. And if you are feeding this additional data, there we have like the whole protocol, how we are evaluating the data, how other people can validate the quality of this data, and then this data, piece of data or piece of code that was contributed by each specific person from the community, it can be embedded to the vector database. So that is the part one, for, like the milestone number one, RAG powered models or agents for DevRel support and like any basically use case. The second milestone is going to be fine tuning of this model. So as soon as we collected enough data and we see that the data set is mature, big enough, accurate, we can offer to these communities to fine tune this data into model by using and relying some of the small language models. So why small language models? Because they can be more efficient, they smaller, they doesn't need like as much capacity, and it would be more efficient and less expensive to fine tune, but you need still highly curated and precise data set. And that's where we doing incentivizations. That's where we allowing model creators and us as a platform to incentivize like everyone who participated in the economy of the platform. So we have model creators, we have data contributors, and we have data validators. So it's like basically three roles plus end user is like fourth role. So what we are incentivizing, we're incentivizing people to create a model, establish specific use case based on the data set, based on the knowledge area. It can be anything, basically marketing, it can be product management, development, code, whatever. And as soon as they establish it, they can create a treasury of the model and tokenize it. As soon as the model is tokenized, other people, maybe friends, maybe like family, maybe anyone from community, they can put some portion of tokens into the treasury, and in that way get management token over this model. And if it's this model using wisely the tokens and like the treasuries that they allocated, attracted, they can expand the model, they can get more users, they can get more clients. And if this model will achieve specific milestones in terms of the standalone model, in terms of the revenue, users, and so on, there would be another unlock of the management tokens. So there would be another opportunity to attract more people to invest in this model, and in that way to earn and monetize this model as well. So we're trying to build, like if you will think from the long-term perspective, we're building kind of app store where each application, instead of application, we have a model, and instead of one company or one owner of the model, we're going to be having a community of owners of these models. And our ultimate goal is to make it successful. We're going to be subsidizing initially everyone who would be creating it. So that would be like a big subsidizing at the beginning to support model creation, but it's going to be lower and lower over the time. And on opposite side, we have a revenue line when the beginning would be very little revenue, but there would be like grow trajectory. And our goal as a platform is to define this break-even event, like where is this, like intersection happening, and which model actually can monetize, which community can be productive, which community can generate revenue, and we're going to be fueling them even more with our support.
Amazing. I think this is something which was required with time to work on top of like into tokenizing whatever effort that a specific model is going to put in. For my question, I think that is also the question which I would be biased to ask is
Yeah.
that what kind of compute you are using underneath uh, Assister, and how you guys are utilizing compute, and what are your plans of using decentralized compute in future? Spheron, basically.
Yeah, I think it's something that definitely worth to be added into our roadmap, and we have already the conversation with you guys. So what we have, like pragmatically, we got just partnership with Google Cloud, so we got 350K from them. And from startup perspective, it's like worth to use free money instead of like using and paying for something, for some services and so on. Why it's fast important, and like we also got pretty big perks from AWS, so it's going to be another 100K shortly. So it's like totally we around 500,000 in terms of the perks that we
I
can
have an
use.
analogy for that, like we had to create an analogy for GCP and AWS credits. Like
Yeah,
it's a goldfish syndrome that happens with startups. Like they start utilizing
yeah,
all of those services they have, and what happens once those credits goes out. So I think that is the fun part about GCP's credit. 350K is the limit you get. I think 100K you can directly utilize it. 250K you get to utilize it once you have on the billing itself, if I am
mm.
right. Like, yes. So you,
I need to double check. I'm not sure. I know that 100K definitely
yeah,
in terms of the cash. Yeah, but like I'm not like let me finish my thoughts. It's like my way of thinking about it is that like we're gonna use this like okay, even if it's a case, we're gonna have still like 100K in cash and 100K of cash like Google and also AWS. And why for us it's important because we are on a product markets feed stage. Like so we're still looking for
yeah,
where is our real product market fit and which model makes sense. So that's why we are ready to subsidize model creators. We can provide them for free storage, GPU, CPU. We are ready to provide them, like vector databases, infrastructure, everything for free. But as soon as we will figure out which models actually make sense, actually can monetize and bring value, we're going to be, like building and tuning the business model properly. And that's where we
yeah.
would be thinking like, okay, should we go to AWS with X let's say like cost, or should we go to Spheron with 0.5 or 0.2 x from that price? Of course we're going to be like making a business decision at that point of time. And just to give you a little bit more perception of this, so we already have a partnership with Zero Gravity on this, with you guys. So I think there would be definitely maybe io.net, we in conversations, they actually want to work with us as well. So I think we will structure this part properly as soon as we would see that there is like clear business product market fit and we understand why we need to pay for what we want to pay and so on. Till that, it's still like kind of a discovery process when we're doing a lot of product work to understand which service providers we need, which model makes sense, and like who gonna be our partner in the long term.
Amazing, amazing. And that, I think this level of clarity is something everybody needs in the market right now. Because
Yeah.
I respect you for the clarity you have that once you reach the PMF. But what Spheron would do for you in this case, and what our team can do for you, is create an open source use case on top of Assister and
Mhm.
use Spheron's compute. Like that is something which we are doing for the ecosystem itself. Because you see that we are in an ecosystem where there are just logo X logos partnership coming out, and a lot of partnerships which are just there, and not there is no tangible use cases of those
Yeah.
partnerships. But we truly believe in people utilizing it, and I feel if Assister's model is something that can be utilized on top of Spheron's compute, we can definitely, because recently we did with Hurist, and also we are working with multiple foundational partners where we work on top of their like let's say for data availability, We are working with few partners, and I think they are your investors as well, Zero G Labs. So we are working with them. So I feel that this is a good and a right way to treat how decentralization can be utilized. And for the
Yeah.
business perspective, definitely I think it's a tangible decision. And like, we would love to see that how we can synergize on utilizing Assisterr SLM model on top of Spheron's compute, and can be easily given to the ones which are open source. I'm not like ones which can be accessed by public, and can be made through. Coming to my next question, what is what is your plan, like, where, till when are we going to see, what is the roadmap of Assister in coming time, and what is going to be Assister in next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah. It's a very good question because like we just recently hired head of AI. So guy, he's like amazing, very experienced guy with Apple, Google, and Amazon background. So it's like right now we just like applying a lot of things from like best practices that we can implement on our company level, and like kind of scaled our startup team to more productive way of like delivering, demoing product every week, a lot of other things. So I think like we're doing a lot of things in last month and this month just to restructure a team. But why we are doing it? Like because we want to have really good product led company where we're gonna be designing a product and delivering and shipping a product to the market on a regular basis based on the user feedback. So we want to establish something that people need, not just like something that like we see as a founding team, because founders, they are good till some point of time. After that, they need to be aware that they are not as the smartest guys in the room, and there is like, first of all, more smarter people in this space, like it's a first. And second part, there is like real end user. And like if end user is saying like, hey, I don't want to do it, like, or I don't want to use their product in that way, or I'm not doing it, like whatever you imagine that I'm doing in a way that you want me to do it. So that's why, like our roadmap is all around like defining this, like what users want and like how it fit in with our vision of the product. And big milestones that we have on our mind, like and like or high level visions that we are going to, is basically it's a marketplace or two-sided marketplace of community-owned model, where on one side we have a supply, so it's there would be a community of creators and like community around each model that are producing high quality and contributing to high quality and accurate models, and they care about additional monetization. They thinking about what should be a pricing. They thinking about like which data they want to filter and accept from community, which not. They thinking about like what they want to fund from the treasury. They thinking about like when it's like which milestones they want to achieve as a group of people, kind of micro DAO. And then we have a demand side. So on a demand side, we already have like hundreds and thousands of users, and we see what they want. We actually can help to match their needs with something that these people on the supply side provided. And also, we our role as a sister is to incentivize both sides to do something that other side is expecting from each other, because we know and we can kind of orchestrate and like push the dynamics in the relationship between these two groups of people. So how it address into the roadmap? So we have this vision of community owned models, which going to be like a marketplace. And how to, like what are the steps to that? Like first, it's a perfection of RAG based models that we are doing right now. We're going to release it end of this month, and there would be AI Lab, which is a no code tool to support anyone who has the data, who has the idea to launch the small language model. The second big milestones that we expected somewhere end of the year or early next one, it's going to be fine tuning of the model. So we expecting that people and communities will aggregate enough data set to do a fine tuning and constantly improve the models. Then later in 2025, mid year, we expect to experience a lot with business models, because we want to get more information, more intelligence, which use cases, which models are successful, what is the like success source of this community, why they are successful. And by analyzing this, we can share and spread this information with all ecosystem, and educate them what they can do, how they can do, like how to bring the model to the market, how to build the distribution of this model, how to attract new users from outside, how to sign deals with some B2B clients. Because if you have a very strong model which can overperform some OpenAI, let's say, model in domain specific area, you can monetize this much better. You can go. So, for example, we have right now a use case. There is an application with tens of thousand users, paid users, and they are relying on one of these big tech models, which is which doesn't have all the responses and all the data that they are looking for, but they still paying them like $1,000+ per month. So with our approach, we can have, and we're gonna have this like community who are gonna be organized around this like music model, and they're gonna be feeding the data and keeping this model up to date all the time. And for them, having not $1,000, but maybe $300, $500, $400 paid from this customer, it's something that good enough for this community and good enough for that, like end user, like B2B client. So we're trying to define these use cases, and we're going to be working on that. That's a plan for the next year. Basically, what I mentioned in terms of the long term, I'm trying not to build too long term plans, because we have the vision, we are following the vision, we're going to be building and contributing there. But tactically, the market is so different, like changing so fast. So you cannot tell that like, hey, I'm planning for 3 or 5 or 10 years and it's going to be there. No way. Like a year ago when we were building Assisterr and started, like 90% of like tools that exist right now, they were not there. Like, and the Assisterr now and the Assisterr a year ago, how we saw it, it was totally different products. Like, there are similarities, there are some things that we keep having in terms of the UX UI, but in terms of the like how we see the market, how we target the market, ways the customers, and so on, it's very, very dynamic things.
And I feel this is like there was a recent article by Paul Graham on founder mode versus manager mode, and the whole Web3 works in the founder mode itself. It's truly like people getting their hands dirty and very fast paced moving. Like that's truly that's how things should be, and that's what I love about Assister as well, is that it's very product driven. And the reason you guys have a more functionality towards product and understanding, like, because I saw that you guys have Solana integration, which is going to be in the timeline as well, and there are a lot of things which are going to come. But what I like about Assister itself, and as a founder, you guys have, like, you have done a great job into making people come on to the vision of understanding that it is going to be a product driven thing, and actually people need it. Because we, like, the industry has so many things which people don't need it and they are still there, and yet these are something which are were low hanging fruits, but there were no tangible solutions on it, right? Like, if I say documentation, people can list down 1000 problems around it. And I feel this uh, I strongly feel that the product led roadmap which Assister has taken is truly amazing. Like, I think we are one of the biggest supporters of product driven approach into anything. Like, Sveron has been doing that for years now, and like, we proudly are very much product driven and related in any of those things. So I think, Nick, we are coming to the end of the discussion. So there is one thing you want to add. So this question is more of a philosophical question. This is not very tech oriented or anything, but one thing you want to see, which is like, the episode name is Tech Fusion, AI, GPUs, and beyond. So we spoke about AI, we spoke about GPUs. So the beyond segment is about, what do you see how things are going to change in past 10 years? Like, what do you feel is
Yeah.
that it's going to change in 10 years? Like,
Yeah, that's a good question, because like it's kind of about the vision and like the future that you dream about. And I believe like the future, and like whenever happens on the technology side, and like whenever comes from the future to now, like to reality, is basically a collection, or like a compressed collection of different dreams of many people. Like many people are dreaming about something based on the knowledge, based on expertise, based on of beliefs and like hopes that they have. So my vision, like kind of a like how I see and how I hope everything would happen. So first of all, what I don't like and what I don't believe in is like this type of risk, like heavy risk AGIs that gonna happen. Like one computer or one model that will be rule everything. I don't think that it's realistic stuff because it's like too complex from the technological level. I understand that we are moving in that direction. I understand that like a lot of technology happening to support this, but I don't think that it would happen in the way how everything is described right now and how everyone is speculated around. Because like big tech companies, they have motivation to sell this picture of dangerous future, and that's why like give me 10 or billion dollars investment because I gonna be the company who would be rules this, like super risky stuff, and you would be the government who also control it. Like I don't think that it would happen. Like what I believe personally, I think that we're gonna be moving in very natural nature way. And nature way how everything works, even our brain, which is the most powerful probably kind of machine or mechanisms that we know, everything works in partly decentralized way when we have different centers where we have a different cells. Every of them operates and performs some specific task to make our body, to make us like conscious and make us like capable to do different things. So that's why I believe that we're going to go in and end up in some multimodal multi-agent environment where there would be like thousand or maybe tens or hundreds of thousand different small language models and agents that would be highly specialized to perform one single task, one single thing. And that's where any of our viewers, listeners, anyone in the future would be able to create their own agent that would be targeting very tiny niche thing. And that's where I think everyone who is listening us, they should be thinking from the product perspective or entrepreneur perspective or founder perspective, like wake up, okay, what I'm struggling about, like what I'm thinking about, like like what I'm missing, what doesn't work in the world around me in the way that it should, or how I see it working better. And if you spend in even 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and you think that this task or this function or this work could be done in different way, that's where AI will step in. That's where agents step in, and you can automate it. And we want to be a part of this tools or platforms that would help in people to automate their life, make it better, and also earn money by building this. So that's pretty it. So we want to create a future, and we create in this future where AI is not a risk, not a threat, but it's like a friend. It's a tool. It's a service that can help to make your life better, to keep you in the loop, like financially, because like I don't think that if you end up in monopolistic or duopolistic like world of the future with 2 3 5 models, that anyone around would actually benefit. So it's like this company already scrapped all the internet. They took all our books, all our Wikipedias, all our like whatever we have, like they already took it for free. And after that, they took put a payroll like $20 from you, $100. Like why? Like, and why there is no participation economy? And like I believe that in the future there would be a lot of participation based economies around like AI, for example, where you can contribute something to AI, but you can also be a beneficiary of this AI technology, AI model, AI agent. And yeah, so it's like I think it's excited. There would be still a big question how to orchestrate this army or like this network of models. And I think that would be, like he was asking about milestones or like midterm milestone for us. It would be as soon as we establish this network of models, is to create a single interface that would be able to orchestrate them, collaborate, like organize them into some productive teams, into some productive companies, even, like where you don't need as much humans, but you still gonna be relying on models owned by humans. And like that's where I see this kind of really excited future can come from.
Amazing. I think you really appended on my future thought process, because I've been yeah honestly, like, so sometimes the beyond section really opens up my cognition into something that, okay, yeah, this can yeah, I should honestly think about this. And it's amazing to have people who are specifically building into AI and to speak about this. And it's always lovely to see you, Nick, all the time. Like, in your presence as well. Do you have still the be kind tattoo on your hand?
Yep,
It's
yep.
there. Yeah. See, it's there.
Yeah.
So I think that's I will stick to this until the next 10 years as well. Like, let's be kind. And thank you so much, Nick, for being here. It was truly amazing to have you on the Tech Fusion podcast. And let's see like how we can work together and also ramp up some open source model with Assisterr on top of Spheron. Thank you so much for being here.
Prakash, thanks a lot for inviting me, and hope to see you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to catch you in token.
Yeah.
So, yes. Have a good one. Bye bye.